Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. One of the more difficult topics to cover always involves moderation of comments, whether it be on YouTube, Twitch, Steam, Reddit, or any other online venue. No matter who says or does what, opinions regarding this topic are always going to be stated, and loudly so. And taking that into consideration, I'll do my best to avoid dictating how I think things should be, because I know that a great many people will not share my opinion in regards to this. I will, of course, provide my opinion, but I would ask that people take it as such, just one man's opinion. So what's going on here? Well, we don't have a lot of information to go off of at this juncture, but what I do know is that the other day on the Overwatch Contenders website, they stated that they were implementing a new chat moderation system. This chat moderation system requires people wanting to post in the Twitch chat during the Overwatch 2018 Season 3 quarterfinals to tie their Battle.net accounts to their Twitch accounts. It is also worth noting that this is done on top of already overly stringent chat moderation that it's been reported to include words like kill, Discord, shower, and damn, as well as a huge number of Twitch emotes. This also follows off of the back of any Pepe memes being banned from Overwatch due to its being assumed that it is quote-unquote associated with a hate group. Also, I did want to bring up again the unconfirmed reports that Overwatch and other Blizzard titles may or may not be capable of meeting Chinese regulatory conditions due to inharmonious chat. Now, granted, that information has not been confirmed, and while Blizzard did post a response denying that they had been notified of any such action, that response has since been deleted. And so that is the information that I'm currently working with, and there's a surprising amount to unpack here. First, we have the issues of the suspected reasons why Blizzard is doing this, coupled with what they intend to do to those they deem to be violating their policy, and then the inevitable consequences of this decision. And when I look at the potential reasons why Blizzard is going about this, it ranges from the mundane aspect of simply wanting a cleaner, more viewer-friendly chat. It could be that it is something that the Blizzard Overwatch team are hyper-focused on as a result of their ongoing battles against what they deem to be bad actors engaging in derogatory, degrading, and demeaning chat within the game that lessens the game experience for people, which would translate to less money for Blizzard. Others, I'm sure, will equate this to another example of social zealotry injecting itself into more and more aspects of gaming, seeking to control anything and everything and silencing anything they do not like or that does not fit their ideology. There is another aspect here that I haven't heard many people talking about, and that is the aspect of China and the likelihood that Blizzard may have to go to great lengths to quell what the Chinese Communist Party deemed to be inharmonious chat. That would explain quite easily the reasons for the overly strict word flags like Discord, shower, and kill. It's likely that Blizzard is enacting all of this out of an effort to meet those revision requirements in order to continue conducting business with these games in China, and they are using the Season 3 quarterfinals as a live test bed for this program, as well as to weed out those they deem to be undesirable through the threat of force. Now, I suspect that of those three different possibilities, that it's likely a large combination of all three. We know Overwatch has been battling what they deem to be toxic chat for a long time, and when it comes to ideological zealotry, well, it would seem that we face their presence more and more with each passing day within the gaming sphere. We also know that, while some people scoff at the concept, that the Chinese market for Blizzard is massive. Potentially it is an even larger profit potential than the Western countries. It's that big. The amount of money is extremely enticing, and especially given how corporate-driven Blizzard has become in recent years, it's no surprise that they flock to the larger dollar sign with little to no care for anything else. We even saw that recently with their announcement that they were basically gutting and scrapping the Heroes of the Storm esports scene, putting hundreds of people out of a job by complete surprise right before Christmas. But this still begs the question, what do they intend to do with this? And I think the answer to that is extremely obvious, even though they haven't outright stated or even alluded to what the consequences of violating their chat policies will entail. In recent days, with numerous companies, we've seen more and more examples of people being banned from accessing the games that they paid for in good faith with little to no appeal available. Sometimes that is reasonably justified, as many of those players were cheating, and let's face it, no one likes a cheater. Now, I myself have no problems with cheats as long as they are limited to single-player games. At that point, you're merely choosing to consume the content of the game in a manner that you find most desirable. As long as it's a single-player game, then you're not harming or even affecting anyone else, and that's perfectly fine. You do you. However, the moment you bring other people into the equation, that is when it ceases to be acceptable. Unfortunately, in that regard, as we see more and more video games being released that are multiplayer-only titles, purchasing a game is no longer a valid concept, as you are instead purchasing a license to access an online environment. Oh, you get the software, the installation media, but it is usually useless without the servers maintained by either the developers or the third-party distributors, as is the case with Steam. And as such, that reason itself is why these companies feel so emboldened to deny you access to your games if you violate the rules that they dictate to you. Now, some people have already said that this is no problem, as many people attach their Battle.net accounts to their Twitch accounts anyways for rewards for viewing streams, and I wish it were just that simple. But the objections being raised are not in relation to the level of difficulty involved or the fact that other people do it for other reasons. It is the fact of what they intend on doing with those accounts being linked. It stands to reason, as these streams are being conducted by Blizzard, it is considered to be a Blizzard platform. As such, if anyone violates the rules that they impose, they could deny them access to their online games. They don't care that you paid money for those games in good faith. They only care about a cleaner, dare I say more sensorial chat that meets both their ideals and Chinese regulatory standards. In all honesty, they will lose likely thousands, if not tens of thousands of players across their different games as a result of this decision. It would stand to reason, however, that they just don't care, as it will ultimately be a net benefit for them to continue regardless. And my opinion is that the platforms should not be sensorial based on ridiculous keywords like Discord and shower, but that platforms like Twitch should employ systems that allow individual viewers to be able to engage with chat at levels that they desire. The internet is far too open, with too many people being brought into remote contact with each other and afforded the protection that anonymity provides. The social contract is not observed on the internet, and for the foreseeable future, it will never be. These companies continue to attempt to impose rules and terms of service that dictate what they deem to be acceptable social conduct. But what is deemed to be reasonable codes of vocal conduct differs so widely from person to person that no such rules will be effectively and widely accepted. So what do you do then when no one can, nor will they ever be able to likely agree on an online code of conduct? Well, you have two options. You either go down the route that Blizzard is taking, which I find to be terrible, or you devise a system that allows each person to decide for themselves. Put the onus of responsibility onto the shoulders of the viewers as opposed to attempting to play grade school hall monitor. Provide options for friends-only chat viewership. Provide a checkbox for adult language. Provide a checkbox to allow or prevent ASCII art. A bit harder to detect, I know, but I'm also aware that Google has that pretty much nailed down at this point. Give people the ability to view or not view levels of chat based on their own individual concerns and sensibilities. That seems to me to be a far more reasonable method of going about things, as opposed to banning someone from playing a game that they paid for just because they said a couple of naughty words that you don't like. Of course, that sort of thing would take time, money, and investment on the part of Twitch, and given Twitch can't even be bothered to provide proper transcoding for non-partnered streamers, I find it highly unlikely that they would be willing to foot the bill for such a system to be designed. Far less expensive and far easier to simply be a terrible company right alongside Blizzard instead, and enables them to censor their viewership by holding products people have already paid for over their heads. A more socially acceptable internet through threat of ransom. And welcome to the new Blizzard and Twitch, I suppose. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time.